if I ask you to answer. So, okay. So in today's lecture, I will discuss about, you can keep it in landscape. So your screen will be big. That will be better. So in this lecture, I will discuss about three important topics. So in this lecture, I will discuss about structure of antibodies. Then I will discuss about properties of antibodies. Properties of antibodies. Properties of antibodies. Then I will also discuss about functions of antibodies. Functions of antibodies. Okay, so I will cover these three topics in today's lecture. First, I will discuss about structure of antibodies, then I will discuss about properties of antibodies, then I will discuss functions of antibodies. So before discussing these antibodies, let us have a brief revision of last lecture. So students in online, can you able to hear me clearly? Online students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect. So in the offline, we have two brilliant, smart guys. So we have Nishant and Sunil Bhatt in the classroom, and in the online, we have all of you. Okay. So coming to the point. So in the last lecture, we discussed about antibodies, right? So antibodies are Y-shaped immunoglobulins or gamma globulins. Okay, they are gamma globulins in nature, and antibodies are produced by B cells, right? Antibodies are produced by B cells. To be precise, activated B cells. Activated B cells are called as plasma cells. See Kushi and Aishwarya, everyone stay quiet. I'm seeing some nuisance in the chat box. Okay, so kindly keep quiet. What's happening? Why are you chatting there? Everyone stay quiet, students. Kushi, nothing. So Kushi and Aishwarya, there is nothing happening. So don't worry. Stay quiet, Kushi and Aishwarya. Okay. So no one doing anything. Stay quiet. All right. So coming to the point. So the B cells will produce antibodies. So antibodies are Y-shaped gamma globulins. And what are the classes of antibodies? Tell me the 5 classes of antibodies, students. What are the 5 classes of antibodies?
Sir,
IgG, IgA,
IgA,
IgM,
IgM,
IgE,
IgE, and
IgD.
Very good. And IgD are the 5.
D.
Game D simply. Game D are the 5. And
Okay.
what is monomer in these 5 antibodies? What is monomer? Do you remember?
GAEG.
Yeah, IgA is monomer in nature. That means it is a combination of 2 antibodies. It is called monomer. And pentamer, IgM is pentamer. That means it is a combination of 5. That is why it is called pentamer. Then monomers,
sir,
GED.
monomer IgG.
yeah,
IgE and
monomers
IG.
include IgG, IgE, and IgD are the monomers. And which is the first response antibodies? What are the first antibodies that will be
IgM,
created
sir.
in our body?
IgM. IgM.
IgM. And what are the second response antibodies?
IgG.
IgG. IgG. Very good. Then what antibodies will present in the body secretions?
IG.
IgA.
A.
Sir, IgA.
IgA.
IgA. Body secretions antibodies are IgA. And what antibodies present on the surface of B cells as a receptors?
Sir,
IgE.
IgE.
IgD.
IgD.
IgD will present as a receptors on the surface of B cells. And what antibodies will mediate in allergic reactions and hypersensitivity
E.
reactions or anaphylactic
IG.
reactions?
IgE.
Sir,
IG.
Sir,
IgE.
IgE.
IgE will mediate in
Yes.
hypersensitivity reactions and allergic reactions. So these are the 5 types of antibodies we have in our body. And what cells will produce antibodies? Antibodies are produced by
Plasma B cells, sir. Plasma cells.
plasma B cells. Plasma B cells will
Yes,
produce
sir.
the antibodies. Then I discussed about the functions of antibodies. So I briefly discussed about 2 types of functions. We have direct functions and indirect functions. Yesterday I have shown you with a gun and a bullets. So gun and a bullets, right? So here we have 2 important functions of antibodies. First one is the direct functions. Then we have indirect functions. So direct functions and indirect functions. IDF, indirect functions. So in indirect functions, it is indirect functions are mediated by complement proteins, complement system. So indirect functions are mediated by complement system. So in the complement system, we have 3 pathways. Can anyone say the 3 pathways? Three pathways of complement system. We have
Alternative pathway and lethal pathway.
very good. Classical pathway,
Yes, sir.
alternative pathway, and we have lectin pathway, LP. So lectin pathway. These are the three pathways we have. So what are the three? What are the four direct functions of antibodies? Can anyone say the direct functions of antibodies?
Sir,
Precipitation,
agglutination,
neutralization,
Very good,
and
Muskan, and
lysis.
very good, Preeti. Agglutination, precipitation, neutralization,
neutralization,
and lysis.
lysis.
So these are the four important direct functions of antibodies. And what are the indirect functions of complement system? Through classical pathway, we will get opsonization, lysis,
chemotaxis, lysis,
yes,
mast cell
agglutination,
activation.
yes, agglutination, neutralization, and mast cell activation. Mast cell activation. Ultimately, these all will activate something called, what is that?
Sir, MAC.
Yeah, yes, MAC. What is the full form of MAC?
Membrane attack
Sir,
complex.
membrane.
Perfect, Kaushal. Very good.
Because
MAC
very
means
strong.
membrane attack complex. So they will initiate something called membrane attack complex. Then, what are the opsocin? Example for opsocin I have given yesterday. Example for opsocin is
C3b.
very good. C3b is one good example for opsocins. So by this, the antibodies will trigger and they will kill the pathogens indirectly by using opsocins, lysis, or chemotaxis, agglutination, neutralization, or mast cell activation with the help of complement proteins. And also, I have said about activation of these antibodies. So antibodies themselves lead activation. This activation will be mediated by certain cytokines, I said yesterday. So what are the cytokines we have? So cytokines will activate the antibodies, okay? So we have different types of cytokines in our body, such as interleukins, cytokines. So we have tumor necrosis factor, then we have platelet activating factor. So there are certain cytokines in our body and they will activate the antibodies to release this membrane attack complex by the complement proteins. So that cytokines also plays a very important role in killing the bacteria, and cytokines are called as cell signaling molecules, and cell regulation is also mediated by cytokines. So we have a dedicated unit on discussing on the effects of cytokines on the immune system. So the cytokines I will discuss in the future classes. For as of now, you just remember that cytokines plays an important role in activation of the immune system. So this is the brief overview that we completed yesterday. So now I'm moving forward to the next topic. So now I'm going to discuss about structure of antibody. So now I will discuss about structure of antibody. Is everything clear so far, students? Any confusions so far?
No, sir.
All right. Everything clear, right?
No, sir.
Okay. Kushi and Aishwarya, is everything clear for you?
Yes,
Kushi? Very good. Very good.
Yes,
Kushi.
yes.
Very good, Aishwarya. So let me take next slides. Let me take two more slides so that I can continue. So now I will discuss about structure of antibody. So pay utmost attention. So everyone pay utmost attention. Very, 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 very important. Okay. So very important topic. So super important topic. Okay. So without knowing the structure of antibody, it is useless to study the immune system actually. So pay utmost attention. So now I will draw the structure of antibody. So before drawing the structure of antibody, so can anyone say what cells will produce antibodies? Antibodies are produced by
Plasma B cell.
Activated B cells, that means plasma cells. Now see here, this is a plasma cell and an antibody will situate on the surface of plasma cell like this. So the both arms will be on the top and the stem will be on the bottom. So this is how an antibody will stay on the B cell. Now I'm gonna enlarge this particular antibody to show you the exact structure of antibody. Okay, now I will show you the structure. So see here. So an antibody will have two chains. Okay, it will have two pairs of chains. So antibody will have a heavy chain. So this is a heavy chain of antibody. It will looks like a Y shape. That is why antibodies are in Y shape antibodies. Okay, they're in Y shape. So it has two heavy chains. So an antibody has a two heavy chains. Okay, then it will have two light chains also. It will have two light chains like this. So this is a light chain. So this is a light chain. So one heavy chain and one light chain. So keep in mind. So an antibody has a heavy chain and one light chain, a pair of heavy chains. Okay. So this is called as a heavy chain. So I'm writing this as a heavy chain. So this is called a heavy chain, HC, heavy chain, and this is called light chain. Okay. So this is called simply light chain, LC. Okay. This is clear, right? Now, both these heavy chains and light chains are connected together by disulfide bonds. So with the help of disulfide bonds, both heavy chains and light chains are connected. That means it will have two sulfur bonds. Okay. Both heavy chain and light chain are connected by disulfide bonds. Disulfide bonds. I'm unable to keep two sulfides here, but please remember both heavy chain and light chain are connected by disulfide bond. Now coming to the two heavy chains, even these heavy chains are also connected by disulfide bonds. Both the heavy chains are connected by disulfide bonds like this. Okay, so this is disulfide bond. Both light chain and heavy chain are connected by disulfide bond, and both the light chains are both heavy chains are connected by disulfide bond. Now in the heavy chain you can see a bend here. So you can able to see a bend where the heavy chain was bended into a Y-shaped structure. So this region of antibody is called as hinge region. This region of antibody is called as hinge region of antibody. This is called hinge, H-I-N-G. Okay. So this is called hinge region of antibody. Hinge region. Okay. So that bend is called as hinge region, R-E-G-I-O-N, hinge region. Okay. Hinge region of antibody. So I hope everything is clear so far. Once again I'm telling. So antibody has a large chain, a heavy chain, and it has a light chain. Both light chain and heavy chain are connected by disulfide bond, and both heavy chains are also connected by disulfide bond. Next, I will discuss about the regions of each chain. Both heavy chain and light chain, we have certain regions. So before that, I will discuss one important thing. Pay utmost attention. As you know that which part of antibody will bind with antigen, students, whether antigen bind here or bottom, where the antigen binds to the antibody, whether antigen bind here or antigen binds in the bottom. So tell me, antigen binds in this portion or this portion, antigen binds here or here, on the top or on the bottom? Tell me, students, where antigen will bind to the antibody?
The top part.
On the top part, right? That means on the top part of the antibody, on the top part of this antibody, it will have so much variations. That means this top part will always vary. The structure of the top part will always vary depending upon the type of antigen it need to attach. For example, if it need to attach with a triangle antigen, then the shape of this region, the shape of this upper top region of the antibody will change into something a V-like structure to fit into that antigen. That means always the top portion of the antibodies will change. Always they will vary depending upon antigen to antigen. The top portion of the antibody will change constantly. That is why this particular fragment, the upper fragment of antibody, is called as fragment of variation. Okay, so the upper part is called as fragment of I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. So the upper part is called as FAB. The upper part of the antibody is called as FAB. You know what is the full form of FAB? FAB means
Fragment of binding.
yes, fragment of antigen binding. So
Binding.
this is the area where antigen will bind. So that is why this part of the antibody is called as fragment of antigen binding site. That means I'm drawing an imaginary line here. Let me draw with another color. Let me take yellow color. Okay. Daily our Kirti Russell joining late to the class. She's telling, sorry sir, I joined late. Daily. It's okay. So she has some network issues. She's good girl. Okay. So okay. So the top portion of antibody is called as FAB. That means fragment of antigen binding site. So the top portion of antibody is called as fragment of antigen binding site, whereas the bottom portion of antibody, the bottom portion of okay. So the bottom portion of antibody is called as fragment of crystallization, FC portion. You know why it is called as fragment of crystallization? Because in the bottom part of antibody, it will always attach with B cell. So in this, in the bottom portion of the antibody, it will be always crystallized. There won't be any changes in the bottom portion of the antibody. It will be always in crystallized form. So that is why the bottom portion of the antibody is called as fragment of crystallization. Fragment of crystallization. So bottom part is called as fragment of crystallization or FC portion, and the top portion is called as fragment of antigen binding site or fragment of antigen binding portion of the antibody. So I have given a new words for you. So the top portion of antibody is called as fragment of antigen binding site, whereas bottom portion of the antibody is called as fragment of crystallization. So this is FC portion and this is FAB portion. Is this clear for everyone? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, right? Very
Yes,
good.
sir.
Yes.
Okay, so let me move forward. Let me move forward on other things. Now, I will discuss about regions of antibodies. Regions of antibodies, very important. Once again. So we have here two regions. For both heavy chain and light chain, the heavy chain and light chain are divided into two important regions. So I will draw with other colors, okay? So different colors. I will take a blue color. So the top region is always called as region of variation. There will be always variation in this portion. Will you agree with me or not? Whether this portion of antibody will varies or not. Always this portion will be vary depending upon type of antigen. So depending upon the shape of antigen, this portion of the antibody will change. Will you agree or not? No.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it
Yes,
will
sir.
change because this region will always change depending upon the type of antigen it need to attach. If it need to attach with V, then it will form into something which can connect with V. If it need to, if a antigen came means it will convert to a shape where it will bind with A. If an M antigen came means it will change to something that will bind with M. So depending upon the antigen, this region of antibody will change. Okay, so that is why this region of antibody is called as region of variation. This is called as variable region. So this particular region is called variable region. That means it will vary. That means it will change. So that is why this portion is called as variable region. VARIABLE. Okay. Forgot about spelling something. Variable region. Okay. So the top portion of antibody is called as variable region. Okay. Variable region. So the top portion is called as variable region. Now the bottom portion of light chain is called as constant region because there won't be any change in this region. So this region will be always constant. So this region of light chain is called as constant region. So constant region. This region is called as constant region of light chain. Okay. So this is constant region of light chain. Similarly, we have constant region for heavy chain also. but the heavy chain constant region is divided into 3 parts. Okay, so the constant heavy chain regions are divided into 3 parts. See here. So part 1, part 2 and part 3. So I will draw like this. So this is part 3. Arey yaar. So this is part, for example, so this is part 3. Okay, so this is part 3, this is part 2, this is part 2, and this is part 1. So the upper portion is part 1. Okay, so these 3 regions are called as heavy constant regions, right? So constant heavy region 1, constant heavy region 2, constant heavy region 2, and the last one is constant heavy region 3. So these are the 3 regions. These are the regions of antibody. So antibody has 2 regions, a variable region and constant region. For light chain, it has only one variable region and one constant region. But for the heavy chain, it has 3 constant regions and one variable region. So the 3 constant regions are stated as constant heavy region 1, constant heavy region 2, and constant heavy region 3. So these are the regions of the antibody. Is this clear for everyone? Is this clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? So,
Yes, sir.
very
Yes,
good.
sir.
So I'm doing a quick revision on structure of antibody. So the antibody has two chains, a heavy chain and a light chain. So it has 2 pairs of heavy chains and a pair of heavy chain and light chain. So it has 2 heavy chains and 2 light chains. Both heavy antibody is broadly divided into 2 parts, upper part and bottom part. Upper part is called as FAB portion, which is also called as fragment of antigen binding site, whereas bottom part of antibody is called as FC portion. That means it is called as a fragment of crystallization region of crystallization part of the antibody. Then both the light chain and heavy chain has regions. So it has 2 regions, variable regions and constant region. So light chain has 1 constant region and 1 variable region, whereas the heavy chain also have 1 variable region and 3 constant regions. Constant region 1, constant region 2, and constant region 3. Is this clear for everyone? And both the heavy chain and light chain bond together by disulfide bonds. So they bind together by disulfide bonds. Is this clear for everyone? Shall I move forward?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
So no matter whatever
Yes, sir.
textbook you refer, the same story will be there in different paragraphs. Okay. So whatever textbook you are referring, same story will be there. Okay. Now, always keep in mind, everyone tell me students, where do antigens binding to this antibody? What is the site of antigens? FAB, right? Here antigens
Yes,
will
sir.
bind, right?
Fragment of
Yes,
antibody.
sir.
Yeah, FAB, fragment of antigen binding portion. So here antigens are usually binding. Then I said that antibodies will also bind with complement proteins. I said that antibodies will also bind with complement proteins to initiate membrane attack complex. Do you remember? Antibodies will also bind with complement proteins, right? So previously
Yes,
I said,
sir.
see, this is, for example, if this is an antibody, this antibody will release, I said it will release complement proteins. So it will, complement proteins are like a bullets. So the complement proteins will also bind with the antibody. Now, keep in mind, I'm drawing complement proteins with another color. Maybe let me take purple. Okay. So, and complement proteins will always bind in the FC portion of the antibody. Very important point. This we will discuss in detail in unit 4. Complement proteins will bind in the FC portion of the antibody. Complement proteins will bind in the FC portion of antibody, whereas antigens will bind in the FAB portion of the antibody. Complement proteins will bind at FC portion, whereas antigens will bind in the FAB portion of antibody. Okay. Is this clear for everyone, students? Any more confusions regarding this? I hope everything is clear. That's why everyone's silent. So this is the structure of antibody. So structure of antibody is clear for everyone. A quick revision of structure of antibody. Antibody has a heavy chain and light chain. Heavy chain and light chain bind together by disulfide bond, and both the top portion of antibody is called as FAB, bottom portion of antibody is called as FC portion, and both heavy chain and light chain has a variable region and constant region. The constant region for heavy chain is further divided into 3 regions: constant region 1, constant region 2, and constant region 3, whereas complement proteins will bind at the FC portion of the antibody, and antigens will bind at the FAB portion of the antibody. That's it. So both the heavy chains will be connected by disulfide bonds. So this is the structure of antibody. So whatever textbook you take, the same story will be there in different manner, but this is the basic concept of structure of antibody. Is this clear for everyone, students? Shall I move forward? Is structure clear for everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Now let us discuss about properties of antibodies. In the beginning I said, right, in this lecture, so let me tick here. So far we finished structure of antibody. So after structure, I said I will discuss about properties of antibodies. So let me start discussing about properties of antibodies. So now I will discuss about properties of antibodies. So just wait. So now I will discuss about properties of antibodies. So now I'm going to discuss about properties of antibodies. Properties of antibodies. So antibody properties. So pay utmost attention. I need a table, but I'm unable to find it. Wait. The thing is, students, immunology is very depth. I can't remember everything. So even I too will rely on these things. Okay. I'm too not so smart. Okay. So, okay, let us see the properties of antibodies. So I will write all 5 antibodies on the top. Okay. So now I'm gonna write all game D. Okay. So IgG. So I'm writing all 5 antibodies. IgG. So IgG, IgA, IgM, IgE, and we have one more antibody which is IgD. So let us see individual properties of all these 5 antibodies. Okay. So first will be the molecular weight. So first let us discuss about molecular weight. So first parameter is molecular weight. So first parameter is molecular weight. So I hope you can guess the molecular weight. Which is the largest antibody among these? Tell me the largest antibody, students. Which is the largest antibody among these?
IgM.
M. Very good. So the molecular weight of IgM is around 9,000. 9 lakhs. Nice.
So
160 to
10,000.
4 lakh. 160,000 to 4 lakh.
No, that is IgA. So IgM molecular weight is
9 lakh. Sorry, sir. 9 lakh hoga.
Yeah, 9 lakh.
Yes, sir.
So, oh my God, this will be big number. So let us do one thing. 9L. I will write 9L. So the molecular weight will be 9 lakhs for the IgM. So IgM is the largest antibody among the 5 types. Okay. So the largest antibody is IgM with 9 lakhs. Then we have second largest antibody is what is the second largest antibody? Okay, IgE. IgE looking very big, but I'm not sure.
IgG.
IgG with how much? 150. That is small. I think second largest will be okay. IgG only, not IgG. I think IgE. So
sir, IgD hoga, sir. IgD.
IgD with 180.
Sir, 190. 1 lakh
That is
90,000.
IgE, okay? So 1 lakh, 1.9 lakhs. 1.9 lakhs is IgE. IgE is 1.9 lakhs. Then the third one will be
Sir,
IGD.
1.9
So
lakh
IGD is
IGD होगा.
1.8 lakhs. So IGD is 1.8 lakhs. Then you have IGG with 1.5 lakhs. Sorry, you have 1.6 with IGA. So IGA is 1.6 lakhs. 1.6 lakhs. Then last and final is IgG with 1.5 lakhs. So this is the molecular weight of individual antibodies. Okay. So the largest is let us give numbering 1. Then this is 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So IgG is the smallest antibody actually. So the largest antibody is IgM followed by E, D, then A and G. So is the molecular weight clear for everyone? So this is the way you need to remember. Okay.
Sir,
So
unit
the
is
largest is
kilodalton
9
only,
lakhs, IgM followed by IgE, then followed by IgD, IgA and IgG. So this is the pattern of molecular weight. Then what about the heavy chain? So the shape of the heavy chain. So shape of the heavy chain is, so the shape of heavy chain, here we have the Greek words simply. This is a gamma in shape. This is alpha in shape. This is a mu in shape. This is epsilon. This is epsilon in shape. Then we have, this is a delta. So the shape, depending upon the shape only, we have given the names alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Okay, gamma, alpha, mu, epsilon, and delta. So that is the shape of the heavy chain. Then let us see about the half-life of individual antibodies. Half-life means it is the lifespan of an individual antibody. For example, what is the half-life of red blood cell? Do you remember the half-life of red blood cell? Can anyone
120,
say?
sir.
120.
120.
120 days.
60.
Very good. So like that we have half-life for these antibodies also. So let us see the half-life of these antibodies. So let us see half-life. So one of the long-lasting antibodies are, so I'm writing half-life. Okay. So I'm writing half-life. Half-life means it is the time, the duration of time where it will be stay in active form in the blood circulation is called as half-life. So half-life, let us see. So half-life of individual antibodies. So one of the longest surviving antibodies among these 5 are IgG. So IgG can stay in the circulation for almost 23 days. So IgG can stay for almost 23 days in our body. So after IgG, the second largest half-life is present to the IgA. IgA can stand for almost 6 to 8 days in the circulation. Okay, after production, IgA can stand for almost 6 to 8 days in the circulation. So after IgA, IgM will stand in the circulation for almost 3 days. Then IgD will stand for 3 days. Then IgE will stand for 2 days. So IgE will stand for 2 days and IgD will stand for 3 days. So both MED will stay for almost 3 days, but IgG will stay for almost 23 days in the circulation, followed by IgA will stay for almost 6 to 8 days in the circulation. So this is the half-life of individual antibodies. Okay. So then they have given other things. So presence in the milk. So what antibodies will present in the milk? Okay. So presence of antibodies in the milk. So in the milk we will see 2 important antibodies. Actually milk is a protein, students. You know why milk is in white? Because milk has many globular proteins. And what is the significance of globular proteins? They are antibodies. Actually milk, the mother giving milk means mother giving antibodies to the baby actually. So milk is a very good immunizing diet, and also milk will have many calcium, and calcium is very important for complement system activation. So that is why milk is very important. Okay. So in the milk we will have only 2 types of antibodies. both IgG and IgA will present in the milk. So in the milk, IgG and IgA antibodies will present, and all other antibodies won't present in the milk. And what antibodies will cross the placenta? Can anyone say? Placenta crossing antibodies. So the fifth property will be
IgG.
very good.
IgG.
Placenta, yes. So placenta crossing antibodies are only IgG. IgG can cross the placenta and it can give immunization to the baby. So placenta crossing antibodies are IgG antibodies. Okay. Then we have heat stability. So all antibodies can able to stable heat stability. So sixth parameter is heat stability. So sixth one is heat stability. So all antibodies can withstand a certain amount of heat. So all antibodies can withstand a certain amount of heat. Okay. Unless IgD, only IgE cannot survive in high temperatures. So IgE will be killed at high temperatures. Okay. So IgE will be killed at high temperatures. So apart from IgE, all others can withstand high temperatures. Okay. Then we need not to write other things. Actually, complement fixation, classical pathway, alternative pathway, that I will discuss later. So these are the 6 important properties of antibodies. So molecular weight, what is the largest antibody? IgM, followed by IgE, IgD, IgN, IgG. So this is the sequence of molecular weight: 9 lakhs, 1.9, 1.8, 1.6 and 1.5 lakhs. Okay. So this is the sequence of molecular weight. Then heavy chain, gamma, alpha, mu, epsilon and delta. You know already. Then half-life, IgG will stay for 23 days. IgA will stay for 6 to 8 days. Then MED will stay for 3 days each. Okay. Roughly. Then in the milk, both IgG and IgA will present. And then the placenta crossing antibodies are IgG. Then heat stability antibodies are all except IgE. IgE is not heat labile antibody. That means it will be destroyed upon heating. So these are the few important properties of antibodies. These properties clear for everyone, students? These are the properties of antibodies.
Yes, sir.
Right? Clear, right? Then last and final is the functions of antibodies. So now I will discuss about the functions of antibodies. So functions of antibodies you already know. So this is the first thing that I discussed with you. So the functions of antibodies include direct functions, direct actions. What are those? Direct actions include agglutination, precipitation, neutralization, lysis, and indirect actions include opsonization, lysis, complement fixation, agglutination, then mast cell activation and neutralization, through which it will generate membrane attack complex. So these are the actions of antibodies and functions of antibodies. Then to be precise, I need to discuss a little boring topic, but I will finish it. So now I need to discuss functions of individual antibody, students. So let me take here. Okay, so let us keep bullet points for individual antibody functions. So let me write once again: IgG, IgA, IgM, IgEN, IgD. So let us try to write some bullet points, some major functions of individual antibody, and we can say goodbye to this lecture. Okay. So let us see the functions of antibodies. So I will discuss about functions of individual antibodies. Okay. So functions of antibodies. Let me open the notes here. I already sent notes to you. You can refer the notes also. Anyway, after this lecture, I will forward once again. So let us see individual functions of antibodies. So the first one will be IgG. Okay. So 80%. So 80% of antibodies in our circulation is IgG, students. Keep in mind, 80% of antibodies in our circulation are IgG in nature. So they are the most abundant antibodies present in the circulation. Okay. So 80% of total antibodies in our body are IgG antibodies, and it will protect us from, these IgG antibodies will protect us from bacteria. IgG antibodies will protect us from bacteria and viruses by enhancing by phagocytosis. So phagocytosis symbol, this one, okay. So they will mediate in phagocytosis, neutralizing toxins. They will neutralize toxins. They will neutralize any toxins. Bacterial toxins will be neutralized. So neutralize the toxins, okay. They will neutralize the toxins. They will neutralize the toxins, and also they are the only antibodies that can cross the placenta. They are the only antibodies that will cross the placenta. Placental crossing antibodies. So they are the only antibodies that can cross the placenta. So these are the major functions of IgG antibodies. So 80% of antibodies are IgG in nature. They will kill bacteria and virus by phagocytosis and neutralization, and these are the only antibodies that can able to cross the placental barrier. So these are the major functions of IgG antibodies. Then let us discuss about IgM and IgA antibodies. So IgA antibodies is the second abundant antibodies in our body. So 15% of blood will have IgA antibodies. So these are the second most commonly present antibodies in the blood circulation. So IgA present in all body secretions. So they will present in all body secretions. So they will present in all body secretions. All body secretions and mucosal surfaces. They will present in all mucosal surfaces, and they are responsible for giving passive immunization to the baby, and they are abundantly present in colostrum. So they are abundantly present in colostrum or breast milk. Okay. So they are abundantly present in colostrum. So these are the functions of IgA antibodies. Then let us see about IgM antibodies. So IgM antibodies is around 10% of total antibodies in our body. So their percentage is 10%. So out of 10% of total antibodies are IgM in nature. So IgM are the precursors. These are the oldest antibodies, evolutionarily speaking. So these are the oldest antibodies. These are the one of the oldest antibodies which are produced in the evolution. So these are the oldest antibodies, and they are precursors for IgG antibodies. These are the precursors for IgG antibodies. That means simply IgM will convert to IgG in the future. Okay. So IgM will convert to IgG in the future. So they are the precursors of IgG antibodies. So this is all about the functions of IgM antibodies. Then let us discuss about IgE antibodies. Okay. So IgE antibodies will present only 0.1% in the circulation. Very, very less, students. Okay, so IgE are present only 0.1% in the body circulation, and they will mediate in hypersensitivity reactions. So all IgE antibodies will mediate in hypersensitivity reactions. Hypersensitivity reactions. So all IgE antibodies will mediate in hypersensitive reactions, or simply they will mediate in allergic reactions. They will mediate in allergic reactions. Okay. So they will mediate in allergic reactions. Okay. So these are the functions of IgE antibodies. And last and final are IgD antibodies, which are present almost 0.2% of total antibodies in our body. So the role of IgD antibodies is also not so we don't understood. So they are present on the B cells. They are present on the surface of B cells as a receptors. So they are present on the surface of B cells Okay. As antigen receptors. autoantigen receptors. Okay, here when I say antigen, that means autoantigen receptors. So they will act as a autoantigen receptors which will present on the surface of B cells. So that's it, students. So these are the major functions of individual antibodies. So IgM are the abundantly present 80%, IgA 15, IgM 10, IgE 0.1%, and IgD 0.2%. Oldest my antibodies are IgM, whereas placenta, okay, IgG will kill the bacteria or viruses by neutralization of phagocytosis, and they are the only antibodies that can cross the placenta. And IgA present in all body secretions, especially they will present in the colostrum of breast milk. Then IgM are the oldest antibodies, and they are the precursors of IgM, IgG antibodies. Then IgE will mediate in allergic reactions, whereas IgD will present as a surface receptors, as a antigen receptors on the surface of B cells. So these are the major functions of individual antibodies, and these are the properties of antibodies. So the largest antibodies are 9 lakh, which are M, then followed by IgE, IgD, and IgA and IgG, and HC. Heavy chain is gamma, you know the Greek words. Then half-life, if you see the half-life, IgG is 23 days, IgA 6 to 8 days, IgM 3 days, IgM E and D are 3 days each. Then milk, in the milk only IgG and IgA present, and placenta will be crossed by only IgG, and heat labile proteins are all except IgE. And this is the structure of antibody. So antibody has a heavy chain and light chain. Here both upper portion is called as fragment of antigen binding, and bottom portion is called as fragment crystallization. And both heavy chain and light chain bind together by disulfide bonds. And both heavy chain and light chain has a variable region and constant region, whereas the heavy chain constant region are of 3 types: constant region 1, 2, 3. And complement proteins will be bind at the Fc portion of the antibody, whereas antigens will bind at the Fab portion of the antibody. So this is the direct actions and indirect actions of antibodies, and this is all about your unit 1. If you have any doubts, you can ask, students. Any more doubts in the unit 1? We successfully finished unit 1 actually. Students, any more doubts?
No.
Deepak?
Yes. No, sir. No doubts.
No doubt. So everything is clear, right?
Yes, sir.
So then can I end this session?
Yes.
Why Eric also silent today? Yesterday he asked the nice questions. Where is Joyce and Nima? All right. So thank you very much, students. I'm ending this session. So good evening and see you. Okay, see you, students.
Good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
See you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, see you.
अरे शाहरुख क्या
Shukriya.
Excuse me, sir. The weight is in kilodalton only, na?